Jackie Gleason was born on the 26th of February, 1916, in Brooklyn. Teenager, Gleason left school and began working odd jobs to help his mother find performing in local theaters and amateur nights, eventually landing work in vaudeville. These early stage performances were rough environments. Audiences were unforgiving. If they didn't like you, they made it known immediately. That pressure sharpens. The pain of abandonment, the struggle of poverty, and the grind of small-time entertainment built the foundation for one of television's future giants. The boy from Brooklyn was just getting started. The 1940s and early 1950s were the turning point in Jackie Gleason's career. After years of grinding in clubs and small film appearances, television became the new frontier, and Gleason understood its power early. Unlike many performers who struggled to adapt to the small screen, he saw television as an opportunity to bring vaudeville-style performance directly into American homes. His big break came when he began appearing on variety programs in New York. His charisma, despite the show's relatively short original run, The Honeymooners, became legendary through reruns. Its themes of aspiration, financial stress, and marital tension resonated long after its initial broadcast. Many later sitcoms borrowed elements directly from its structure and character dynamics. Gleason's success during this period transformed American television. His larger-than-life presence dominated screens across the country. By the late 1950s and early 1960s, Jackie Gleason had already conquered television. But he was not satisfied with being known only as a sitcom star. He wanted legitimacy in film. Not just comedic roles, but serious acting that proved his range. That opportunity came in 1961 with the release of The Hustler, an intimidating pool shark. The role was dramatically different from Ralph Kramden. There were no loud outbursts, no exaggerated gestures. Instead, Gleason delivered controlled, restrained intensity. Critics were surprised. Audiences were impressed. Gleason earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Many in Hollywood began to view him differently. He was no longer just a television personality. He was a serious performer, capable of emotional depth and quiet power. Interestingly, Gleason had little real-life experience playing pool. However, he carried himself with such confidence that viewers, despite his success in dramatic roles, comedy remained his foundation. He continued to host variety shows and develop new characters. However, as his fame grew, so did stories about his personality. Gleason was known to be confident. Some said overly confident. He continued to host variety shows. He demanded control over productions he worked on. He preferred rehearsals to be minimal, claiming he performed best spontaneously. Behind the scenes, he could be charming, generous, and warm, but he could also be demanding and unpredictable. Colleagues described him as someone who trusted his instincts above everything else. If he felt something wasn't working, he would change it immediately. His personal life during this time was complicated. Fame amplified existing struggles. He had married early in life and had children, but the pressures of constant work and public visibility strained his relationships. He was known for enjoying nightlife, so came more responsibility, and with more visibility came more scrutiny. By the late 1960s and into the 1970s, Jackie Gleason had already cemented his place in television history. But unlike many performers of his era, who faded as tastes changed, Gleason adapted. He understood that survival in entertainment required reinvention. He revived and reshaped his variety format through the Jackie Gleason Show, bringing back beloved characters while updating presentation. His command of timing and stage presence remained powerful. However, the entertainment landscape was shifting. Sitcoms became more modern and socially driven. Younger comedians introduced faster pacing and edgier humor. Gleason was from a different generation. His comedy relied on character depth, physical expression of a local legend. Florida offered privacy and space, something he valued more as he aged. Physically, Gleason was imposing throughout his life, and his size became both trademark and challenge. Health concerns gradually increased. Years of stress, indulgence, and relentless work took a toll. Still, he maintained professional discipline when cameras rolled. Colleagues from later productions described him as more reflective. The aggressive ambition of his early years softened into awareness of legacy. He knew he had shaped television. Shows inspired by the Honeymooners continued to emerge and character-driven conflict. What separated Gleason from many peers was his understanding of audience psychology. He knew that humor rooted in frustration and aspiration resonated deeply. His characters weren't polished heroes. They were flawed dreamers. As the 1980s approached, his appearances became less frequent, but his cultural footprint was undeniable. Action and preservation of his legacy, living primarily in Florida. Gleason spent much of his time at his Inverary home. He had built a life away from the daily pressure of Hollywood studios and television executives. The move gave him distance from the industry that had defined him for decades. Though he appeared less frequently on screen, he was still recognized everywhere he went. His voice, his expressions, and especially his role as Ralph Kramden were permanently embedded in popular culture. Health issues became more serious during these final years. Gleason had long struggled with weight and lifestyle habits that eventually impacted his condition. In 1985, he was diagnosed with colon cancer. The illness progressed quietly at first, and he continued to live privately of restraint and intensity, not only volume and humor. That performance helped solidify his reputation as a versatile actor. Musically, his orchestral albums continued to sell for years. They represented a different dimension of his personality: romantic, sentimental, and nostalgic. This contrast between bold public persona and softer artistic interests made him more complex than many people assumed. Jackie Gleason's legacy is built on presence. He understood timing better than most performers of his era. He knew when to speak, when to pause, and when silence could be more powerful than dialogue. His confidence sometimes bordered on arrogance, but it was fueled by belief in his craft. Today, he is remembered as one of television's true pioneers. The loud bus driver from Brooklyn, the calm pool shark, the explosive sheriff. These characters endure because they were rooted in human truth. Jackie Gleason didn't just entertain audiences. He helped define what television comedy could become